Chat is now open. What a dumb setting. If I set it for the stream to be made for kids, then they can't chat. So what if they're not 14, they just can't watch BMX even though this isn't a mature rated game? I understand that setting being used when it is such. Such as the Ninja Gaiden game, or if you're playing Call of Duty, or any game that's pretty fun. Oh, censorship. What a fun topic, huh? I would like to do some stalls on that. Again, see, stalls work. There's just no way to make it happen intentionally. Or with different speeds or pop, you have to just land right on it. Not good for lines, I'd say. Okay, I'm stuck here now. Alright. Okay, broken spot, broken session marker. It's just funny because there's definitely grind magnets in this game. If I popped to the same rail from flat ground, it would clearly magnetize on it, but just because I'm popping from tranny, the magnets say goodbye. I don't know why you would put that in the game. It didn't even seem like something that would need to be taken out. They're just grind magnets. If there's one set there, then just let the player be able to land on it. Like if I pop to the same rail from a bank and not from transition, when does the game automatically suspend the magnets? It's because my bike is at a specific angle, so it just knows it's a vert ramp thing. Like there's clearly some kind of magnet system in the game for vert. See right there, like I leaned out like I was gonna land on tranny, but then they leaned back in. So there's some kind of physics that keep you in the tranny. Because I've noticed some errors that I do where I should land on flat, like the player pulls off the lip really hard, like they're airing back to flat, and then the magnets will just pull me back into the lip of the coping for a landing. So there's definitely some magnets that played for vert. And I guess he doesn't know how to make the magnets for vert stop interfering with the magnets for grinds, and they're two different magnets, so he can't really figure that out, even though it was perfectly fine in pipe. And for the most part in Streets 1.0, for this new remake, he hasn't been able to figure that part out yet. Let's go work on cars and get them to drive around. Don't forget the tricycle. That's what the bikers and everyone else wants. Tricycles that you can't do any tricks on. It's goofy and fun, so hey, why not? Fortnite. Fortnite priorities. Let's make sure we have a goofy snake head that we can wear too while you're at it. Kind of get some high contrast, loud ass fursuit outfit. Can we dress like a panda bear, please? Let's make sure we can do that before we get the game running properly. Let's make sure we can all play as Big Black or Shaq. Let's play as Shaquille O'Neal. What's that? Flares are ridiculously hard and wonky to do? Nah. I'm currently working on a chess mini game. You guys want to play chess, right? Oh, this is a Viking game? Okay, tic-tac-toe, I'm sorry. Coming in the next patch. It's just funny because the fucking developer for this game is an actual biker. So you think he'd understand what the priority should be. Biking. Watch this be like a Yakuza game with mini games. Or we could play golf and play pool. You want to go swimming, guys? Swim physics. That probably will be in the game. Not even joking. He's already working on parkour mechanics. There it is. That's pretty sick, actually. See, I wish I could just do that on coping, but you just have to be lucky enough to find a mod map that has a decently heightened rail above the coping. Let's see how far that is. Okay, this is like a couple feet from the coping, same distance as this, but since this ramp is so much steeper, it's going to be way harder to land on that. But I want to see if it's possible. Oh, definitely. Nice, first go too. I do feel like there are slight magnets, but they're a bit strict on when they want to work. If you really session the same spot for a good amount of time and get really used to how the speed is going to be, depending on if you pump or not, and if the ramps happen to be mellow enough and all the right specifications, if they're the right height, see if it's something this big and that rail's in the same place. Thankfully it is mellow enough too, but you may or may not, you know, your results may vary. This song sucks. Hey, 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 hey. I'd like to go into that kicker up there. God damn it. I finally get on it and then the grind is like starts stroking out. See, I felt the magnets trying to suck me in there. Jesus Christ. Okay, it's not possible that rail wants to be finicky and dumb. There's a bunch of different parks here, but I'd say that first one is the most diverse with the best lines. A lot of these other ones are just like seemingly random. Like there's pretty cool right here. You got like a nice flat bar. I say it's a little high to be able to actually practice doing some rail tech. Okay, it's not that high. I'd say the grinds can use some work too. Thankfully, like for the most part, if you land in like a Smith or Feeble, the tire will ride on the rail. The proper tire will ride on the rail that it's supposed to. But too many times the tire will just fall off the rail, even though you didn't put any input in. Then you go and try the same exact trick again, and the tire stays on the rail. So it's like, it's so physics based that a lot of the grinds aren't even set in stone. So if you're trying to get a clip and do a line with specific, really techy different rail tricks, you might as well try that whole line on some ledges. And even then, your results may vary. But don't worry about the crank arm grinds, the most finicky grind in my opinion of the 1.0 patch. Now those grinds work pretty good. You don't even have to be on the crank. You could just be grinding nothing underneath your frame and it'll still slide or grind or whatever. That'll work as intended. Yeah, see, like a lot of these, the parts in this map are cool, but that first one has the best flow. Like this This section right here would be way better if a lot of these corner pieces were just vert with other stuff. Like this one's this is like the weakest section of this whole section in here. It's like, what are you supposed to do with this corner piece? Besides it being a starting point, if you're gonna hop off of this, it's like, okay, this is supposed to be like a hip transfer thing and you gotta hop over that. That's sick, but what about all this? I don't know. This one's kind of weird. They clearly wanted to make street spots, but we're in clearly a facility. So it's just kind of random spots. They're cool, but flowing this park is kind of iffy. You better like just going in there for some spots, not for lines, single tricks. This half pipe is great. Very nicely spaced. Actually a good amount of flat bottom and distance before the next wall. Just like this game, this map seems like somewhere to test the physics rather than a great place that you want to ride at, except for the first portion. I find it that whenever I'm downloading a lot of these maps, I like one part of it and then I want more, but a lot of them will be like one flavor fits what they hope would be all. But this one, like, come on, look at the very equal variety of park stuff and vert stuff all in one package, very close to each other but properly spaced. So if you want to go from a park line, some jib stuff right into training, you don't have to go to another park to get that line. You could just be doing some vert, turn over to your right and hit some, you know, some ledges and some downer rails or up rails. A lot of other parks aren't like that. They'll either have a whole bunch of vert and a little bit of street, or a whole bunch of street and barely any vert, or they'll have equal amounts of both but spaced very far apart. Or the map would just have not enough variety in it. This locked-in one is pretty good, decently sized and spaced, but there's not that much of anything. And I don't really like the box-to-box jumps. For someone who doesn't bike, I'm very picky on like what I consider a very perfect spot to be. Like this map here, the streets and park stuff isn't really that fun at all, but the first stuff is very good and fun. This is a good one right here, but the vert is a little bit, you know, like a lot of people just put a quarter pipe down in that. Me on the other hand, I'm like, where's the creativity? How about instead of just a quarter pipe, you put stuff on top of the quarter pipe to make it more versatile? This is a perfect example. Beautiful park and street stuff. No training. Of course, this beginning one is pretty popular and decent. Let's see. I got Venice Beach like yesterday. I checked it out for a bit. It's definitely not done, but if it was complete, a lot of people would be loving that map. I downloaded so many. I don't like ones that run my PC hard. You know, that's another factor that I gotta bring into it. Jared's Backyard, again, is pretty sick. It's so sick that I don't mind the park and street being so split, but, you know, it's better than nothing. This DIY spot is pretty sick. Everything's really small, but it's really sick. Maybe I'll just go to Skate 2 and try to find some old skate spots. I played the map a bunch of times, but at the same time I played Skate 2 for so many years that it was like all the spots are still kind of played out for me, and having less tricks to do on a BMX bike doesn't make it any better. no community center also. Let's just go to the backyard. It's probably something here I haven't done yet. Could be cool. Alright, we're getting a nice glitch where I can't do anything. There we go. I'll try some flares. This is such a beautiful map. See, that's what happens a lot of the times when I try to flare. There's just no backflip at all, instead of just an off-axis spin. Let's get in detail about this flare. That's most likely what happens. And even if I do pull off the correct axis of a flip, I'm still unimpressed by the stop motion of the 180. It kind of feels like the last bit of the trick happens a little too late. See, that's basically what a flare is, but that's nowhere near how I want it to look. I would like for the spin and the flip to happen much more at the same time. Again, I think it's mostly me not doing it right. Even if I do them correctly with the right, angle of spin, that's mostly what it looks like. It looks like a backflip 90 with a very slow and late final 90 degree of spin when I want them to be smooth. I'm basically trying to put in the same input for that cork 3. Just putting the stick directly down. See, but if I do it wrong, then that 3 doesn't even look too good. So it's really just a practice of knowing exactly what angle to put your left thumbstick at during your initial takeoff in the beginning of the flipping rotation. Which is funny because if you're trying some other tricks, then you can, input my flip and put some spin in later, and most of the trick will work out fine. Like if I'm doing a backflip 720 or backflip 360, I can go straight down with the backflip and then just drag the left stick a little bit down diagonal, and I can get the backflip 3 and it'll look pretty alright. Okay, these are terrible ones, but it'll look mostly alright. The invert flares, inverted flares, I think, front flip flares, whatever. Same thing, I can put the stick straight up, and then I just ease it diagonally to the side, and if I let go at the right time, do everything at the right speed, it'll look pretty clean. And I figured those out way before I could figure out the flare. I think if I do a trick with the flare, it'll look better, but that's besides the point. I feel like one of the most fundamental vert bike tricks are just one of the hardest to do. And that's not even a skill issue, or I don't think it's intentional for it to be that hard. I think it's just dev error. Shouldn't a front flip flare be way harder? Anyway, let's try to get a good one. My thumb literally slipped off the stick. God damn. I think it also matters what angle you take off on. Those were the first ones I figured out, like turning 90 and then flipping and turning the rest of the 90. But it's supposed to happen at the same time. That was pretty good, actually. I think a lot of them, if I do get a good flip and rotation, I still land back tire first, which is of course not what I really want from the trick. But, you know, it shouldn't be that hard to get a clean flare where you land both tires at the same time. But it's very fucking hard. Like, I've put about, I'd say 20 hours into this 2.0 patch so far, and I think I've only done a handful, maybe not even a handful of perfect flares. I'm not sure if I've gotten one so far. They're just way harder to do than any other kind of trick that I've tried so far. Most other things I've been trying to learn, I've been able to, you know, figure out how to do them with the stick little by little. I think I tried looking up some kind of tip on like how to get flares working, because of course I watched that old potato guy talk about the update. I'm watching his gameplay. He's doing perfect flares every single time, but at the same time he is using that row mod and changing up the physics, so he's probably changing something. I commented something else about on the same video about something else in the game. He responded to that, and I posted that comment after asking about the flares. He responded to the other question. He didn't respond to how to do the flares properly, so such good, you know, consistency. He didn't respond to that one, but that's a trend of a lot of content creators when it comes to some games. That's a trend. Just not really getting back to trying to figure small stuff out. Or at least mentioning it in the video. Not all the time. Fuck that one up a little bit. Even more so. Damn, I didn't hold that one, but I still jumped back too far. I really do love this map. Of course, Mash's original map that he put in the game, which is just a broken variety of stuff. The map doesn't even really work anymore. I don't know if I downloaded something, which I didn't download any mods. I downloaded like a character mod, but I deleted it. While I've downloaded our maps, but I think ever since he updated and put in this whole new master panel thing, something's broken in that map, whereas as soon as I pop, I'll set my marker down, ride towards the first obstacle, hop at it, and then my character just bails and eats shit. So there's a new glitch over there. Now he's probably trying to fix that, even though none of these other maps have that problem. His own map has a new issue, so that's cool. You gotta love the character looking the wrong way during the spins. I don't know how that wasn't found. Of course, in Goofy stance it looks okay. But again, I'm not even looking to go into Discord channels and be like, hey look, there's this glaring weird thing. Like, who cares? It's probably not gonna be updated for another month anyway. So just deal with it. That's what I've been doing. I've been trying to find mods to download character skins. I see everyone who makes a clip of this game on Instagram or YouTube has a custom character. And I've been wanting one for a while, putting it off. Every time I start to go download one, I'm like, fuck it, I'm only gonna be playing the game for about 45 minutes today or something anyway. I'd rather spend this half hour playing the game instead of trying to make these character mods work. Shouldn't even need a character mod because this game already had a bunch of characters in it, but I guess with the remake, they had to take all of those customizable bike parts and characters that everyone spent hours on unlocking. Just take them all out. Not even a basic bike customizer, or I don't know, being able to select between at least 2 characters. Even BMX Pipe had that ability. it was just way too big of a process to sit here trying to download those mod characters. I put it off for so long, and as soon as I actually went and said, okay, let's try to get some mod characters, it was the most overabundance of extra steps I've ever seen. That one looked pretty good. Maybe it just works better if you do a trick with it. Like it's just a carved backflip with like barely a 180-degree spin. It shouldn't be crazy. I guess that's the ticket. Do a trick with it and it works better. Maybe a tail whip? Okay, it looks a lot better if you do a trick with it. I've spent so long trying to do the actual trick, I haven't really tried to do one with a trick in it. It looks way better. And that's why I've been spending so much time on this game. With all the stuff that's added, it really is much more satisfying to play. Okay, see, that was fucking nice. That one I liked right there. Now I'll put a smile on my face. He took out one of my favorite tweaks, which was the tuck tweak from Pipes 1.0. You used to be able to do like a nice kick out with the back tire. It really made basic, you don't really call them front side and back side airs in biking, just regular airs like this with no tricks. It really gave me an option to style those out. Now I have to find some weird bike tweak that isn't really a trick, but more like an input for a grind or something like that, and do that in midair. Like, what's the one I found yesterday? What was it? What was it? Not the moto, which should be the trick I would want to do, but it's not that one. What is it? The one time I tried that goofy ass trick. That's just ridiculous. Oh, oops, didn't mean to do that one. See, this just to me, that's just such a goofy one. I don't think it looks good at all. I think it's just a weird one. But I'm surprised he doesn't have like Supermans in this game. I feel like that's such a basic bike trick. I don't even know if I do that one that much, but it seems really basic to not include, I mean. I'd like to try a flare off of that since I kind of got him. Kind of got him. See right there, that one I liked. But That's what I'm talking about. I have to start the backflip, and instead of doing what my body wants to do, which is to put my left stick slightly to the left to finish off the spin, I have to let the entire stick go and just allow the character to auto-correct and auto-spin the rest of the way. That time, I let go too early, so there wasn't the auto-correction, so I had to add the last bit of spin. You could definitely see that right there. Just sucked right back into the train, even though I was going to flat. And that's what I think is interfering with the coping mechanics. It would be cool to see like a patch note or something, or like a roadmap of what fixes are coming next. But Match would rather post a story clip of some player or something doing a cool techie line and just be like, possibilities are endless. The impossible has been done. Flex, flex, flex. I could put a little tap, 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 type of what I'm currently working on and what's going to come in the next slight update, but let's leave them waiting for 7 more years. Honestly, probably just for another couple weeks until the next update comes out. I tried playing that Matchbox game, and I saw that was just a lot more underdeveloped. It felt like the physics feel a lot more like this, but there wasn't even like bike laning when you turn. It looked a lot more stiff when it comes to just overall rolling around in style. Not my flavor of tea. Sorry. Okay, I have to do a bar after that. I've been doing like switch flows the whole time. Can you blame me? The line naturally leads me to the left. Now I'm used to doing them to the left, trying them in my regular stance is now hard. Wonky. See, that's not what I want. Flare, if I can already barely do flares, trying to do that is going to be ridiculous, trying to flare off of that thing. Dude, I swear, I'm putting a damn stick to the bottom. There you go. I'm trying to T-box so hard. The wall rides are a little finicky and wonky too. But there's going to be a bunch of cool stuff that comes to this game. I heard that there's going to be kind of a Tony Hawk system where you can swap and switch your tricks out for each input. That I'm going to love. Then I could take out all these wonky tricks I don't like and replace them with tricks that I do want. Even though there's still, at the time, button combination that don't do anything, like left bumper forward on the right side doesn't do a damn thing. So, what a broken wall ride. Okay. Anyway, let's go try some street stuff. If we can. I do really like this street section. You gotta love the almost hidden bowl that you can't even naturally ride to. I haven't done much of anything in this bowl. I've barely rode. It's just the Vans bowl. It almost is. With a tree sticking out. That's what's up. Yeah, I've barely rode this. I'll practice some flares here though. That tree popping up might make for a cool little transfer over if I go over it correctly. Never mind. thought of doing like a tut to get over it, but we saw what just happened. Damn, acts like a wall. Okay. Come on. Okay. And at this point, I'm almost done playing this game. Most of the times when I turn it on, I intend to try to find some new stuff, and I end up kind of just fighting with the physics, trying to do other things that I've already done, or just want to get better. That's alright though. And I think this game used to run a bit worse on my PC, and from what I've been seeing, it runs a lot better, because I don't hear my PC getting as loud as it used to when I used to play this. This whole stream has been mostly just vert stuff. Damn. I thought that might be too high to hop on. I always do the X up the wrong ways. If I'm spinning to the right, I want the bars to go opposite when I spin, not the same way. I wouldn't say I'm the best at this game. Nowhere near. I wouldn't even say I have most of the stuff mastered and dialed in. It took like 10 minutes just to get through that dirt trail back there without fucking up. For all the complaining I've done, positive feedback, this is definitely an improvement from Pipe 1.0. Even though some of my favorite stuff has been taken out, the vert itself is better. The street riding itself is better. The only reason I would turn on 1.0 is for the tricks I can't do, but then I'd be playing that game even for a less amount of time I'd play this one. Disasters just work now. I used to have to hold 3 damn shoulder buttons. I used to have to hold both bumpers and a trigger. I used to have to hold both of the bumpers so the character unlocks to the coping, and the trigger so that they air out of the vert. And I'd have to hold all 3, get a good 180, pop the right height, go the right speed and everything just to do a disaster. Now I could just roll up like it's skate at the correct speed and baby hop at the correct height, and I just get up to the coping now. But now that disasters are in, all the other stalls are out, so it's like, what the fuck? There goes like half of my mini ramp lines, unless I want to do a damn this on every goddamn vert wall. Meant to go over that. Tire ride, only on square rails and round ones if they're long enough. Tire rides used to work better in 1.0 and street, but hopefully that'll be worked on too. I really like me a tire ride. And a lot of the times, even if they do happen to work in this game, even with zero input from my stick, the rider just goes off the side of it anyway. As if I have, stick drift. It feels like I have to aim myself, which is the exact opposite of how it used to be. So I hope these get worked on. I also have to hold both of the triggers and press them at the exact same time. Otherwise I do this, what I find to be pointless ass skid, even though there aren't any brakes in this game. There's no brakes on these bikes or braking system, but a magical braking system just implements if you want to do a pointless skid and mess up your tire rides. It makes it so that I have to be very exact and press them both at the same time, and only when I'm already properly lined up. And this rolling entrance of this bank doesn't make the tire ride any easier. The fact that it's angled just makes the biker want to, I don't know, do something besides land on the very top. But I figured that it's not even the tire ride, well, it's not just me getting the wrong angle, it's the implementation itself. Because even if I sit here and line myself up as best as possible for a tire ride, and the biker just falls off the side of the rail into a pet grind, if I sit here and do a crook or any other grind, and I hop into one, then they'll hop and land on the rail and bang it perfectly. So if we try the switch crook and hop into a tire ride, it should work. It's been working. So if I want to do a tire ride, crook first. And it's been working on rails round and skinnier than this one, but it's not working on this one. That's the other thing about this game that I hope gets tweaked. A lot of the times it can feel like a skill issue, but if you do the exact same input, sometimes the trick will just work, and sometimes it just won't. See, I'd like to baby hop into it, but I don't get enough height. I could change that in the options. There we go. See, that's beautiful. I just want to land into the bank, please. We need a lot of stuff to be fixed. We all want to do over grinds, consistently, without luck being involved in the trick. We all want over pegs, which I heard it works if you do a certain grind. If you do like a unlucky or whatever it's called from the opposite side, then it works with one peg, but then you just get into an over feeble. I saw Potato doing it. Of course, he was in the opposite stance, doing it from the same side of the row that I am. And when he was doing stick to the left from this side, it was just working. And even he was saying he couldn't do the same thing from the other side with the same input or opposite input, which should be the case. If this game is trying to be like Skate, then these options should be mirrored. So if we try anything opposite, then just doing the opposite input should work. But when you figure out that a lot of these tricks only work for one stance, then it's like you can kind of see the cracks under the machine. That's the cost of wanting everything to be so physics-based. So physics-based that it's a random variable every time you try a trick. You can throw lines in the shitter. I mean, that's awesome if you're so skilled at the game that everything will be first try, as if you played Skate for 2 decades, and it's just not fun anymore because you can do any line that you want to without too much struggle. even though it's cool to have that point of skill and still have to realistically try over and over for a line, I don't know. I don't like the RNG about it. See, the one time I want a pet grind and I do a sick ass tire ride unintentionally. How satisfying is that when I just spent 5 minutes trying to tire ride and having to struggle for it? That's what I'm talking about. That's not what anyone would want. It's crazy how you are intentionally designing this sim to have precision and control, and you get the exact opposite of control. I put in the input for a crook, and I just get something else. I think I might have messed that up, but I can tell from the animation that happens. Like if I'm trying to put in the input for a crook, it should look exactly like that. The bike goes slightly directional, and the character tucks their legs up a little bit. And that's if I'm trying to do a right side crook. That's when you put an input of right stick to the right and down. Right and down, and it tucks up. So theoretically, if I do that same thing to the left and down on the right stick, I should see that same animation every time. But instead, you see how it did it? It doesn't do that every time. It does it sometimes, but I end up messing my grinds up even though I know I'm putting in the right input. That's a crease that needs to be ironed out before full release. What's the point of spending hours to master a game if your skill is ignored for RNG? This is not a loot box. The lamest trick in biking, crank flips. I'm sorry, I think they're lame. The only time I ever do them is if I'm pretty burnt out on trying the other more natural, cooler bike tricks. I find a crank flip just to be, I don't know, boring. I find it as boring as calling this a trick. Oh shit, I pedaled in the air. I feel like I can do that, you know? And I've never BMX'd a day in my life, and I know I could do that. Okay, let's not say I've done a dirt jump. I've been in the air and landed in a ramp. That would be the trick I'd try if I know I can't do any other trick. Therefore, I find it pathetically lame. Like, instead of that lame trick happening, can something else happen if we hold A in the air? We already have foot jump by just pressing B and trigger. Instead of doing that dumbass thing, we could have that be a cool extra trick. How about that be our foot jam button? Just turn this into regular foot jams. And there you go. And then it just holds for like 1.5 seconds unless you pop out of it early. How about that? It could work just like foot jams, foot jam whips. Press that anytime and it just foot jams. You press A anytime in the air and it just automatically starts a foot jam, even if you baby pop. just take that fucking air pedal out. That's just so stupid to me. What a dumb trick. Imagine going to a competition and everyone's just doing that. I feel slighted. I want my money back for the tickets. Alright, I think that's enough for me in this game. I feel like playing something else. Well, that was uneventful. I guess I got my daily dose of talking in. Alright, going back to Call of Duty or something. How long was that? About an hour. Alright. I'll play that later and not stream it.